and welcome to Sonder, the show all about self-improvement. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of staying connected throughout quarantine. Previously, I had mentioned that I would be redoing all of my previous shows as I had done them for Whitney Radio. However, I have decided to change things up a little bit. As I have stated many times throughout these shows, it's important to be passionate about the things that you create, as it's very difficult to create something good when you don't care about it. Because I have already done all of those shows, that spark of motivation isn't really there anymore. And I have a few more relevant ideas that I'm going to produce before I redo any old shows. So instead of repeating my old shows, I'm going to be giving you some new and fresh shows, starting with today's. Connection is very important. Humans are social creatures at heart, and it's important that we help one another. Especially right now, that connection is harder to achieve, and it's far too easy to spin into a cycle of negativity. To make sure that people around you are getting the social connections that they need, make sure to check up on them and talk to them regularly. This can be a simple text, a phone call, or even a video call. Especially for someone who's feeling alone or not doing too well, a little bit can go a very long way. There have been multiple studies proving that loneliness can have some very negative effects on people, but as long as we continue to look out for each other, we will be okay. As you probably know by now, this show used to be on Whitney Radio, and unfortunately I had to leave the station without getting to say goodbye to my listeners. Occasionally I would get to talk to some of the other presenters who were at the radio station at the same time as me, and one of those presenters was Rick. After finding out that I had to leave the station, he reached out to me and asked if I wanted him to say anything on his show. This little interaction meant a lot to me, and it meant that I was able to get the closure from my time at the radio station that I thought I might not be able to get. I listened to his show, and before giving my message, he talked a bit about my show and what it meant to him and to so many listeners. I really appreciated this, and so I wanted to thank him on my own show. So Ricky, if you're listening, thank you very much. I also wanted to use this as an example of how reaching out to someone you know can really make a difference. While it is important to check up on everybody and keep that connection going, it's especially important to check up on those who might be feeling particularly alone right now. This could be elderly neighbours, quiet or shy people, and those quarantining alone. And if you feel that you're struggling, whether it's that you're feeling alone or struggling with anything else and you don't have anyone to talk to, you can visit the links in the description below to find some help, ideas, or someone to listen to you. Thank you for listening to this week's podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with anyone you think might appreciate it. And I'm sorry that today's was a little bit short. I know that they're all quite short, but today's was particularly short. It's because I think today's topic is a short and snappy topic, and it was quite easy to cover quite quickly. But hopefully I'll have some slightly more longer and in-depth shows for you coming up in the coming weeks. But before you go, I want to ask your opinion on something. Usually I just have a still image throughout these, but I feel that that's fairly boring and some people might want something to watch while listening. So I was thinking of including some gameplay footage in these videos. I was thinking pretty games such as No Man's Sky and Journey, but I could also include some action games or other things, so please let me know in the comments if this is something you would be interested in. That's it for today. Come back next week for another episode of Sonder.